Abena's life took a sudden turn when she received a scholarship to a prestigious school in the city. Coming from a humble background in Ghana, she had always dreamed of higher education but never thought it would be within reach. She quickly immersed herself in her studies, but the social dynamics of the affluent school posed a different challenge. Her classmates came from wealthy families and she often felt out of place, yet Abena was determined to prove herself, always striving for excellence despite her financial struggles. She worked tirelessly, earning respect from her peers for her intelligence and dedication. As Abena navigated this new world, she met Tunde, a wealthy boy with a kind heart. Unlike most of the privileged students, Tunde wasn't condescending or dismissive. He was warm, compassionate, and deeply committed to making a difference in the world. He had grown up with the expectations that he would take over his family's business, but his heart was set on pursuing a career that would allow him to make an impact in education and social causes. They quickly formed a deep connection, drawn to each other not just because of their differences, but because of their shared desire to help others. The more time they spent together, the more they realized how different their worlds were. Tunde's family had everything, while Abena's family had to make do with less, yet it was this contrast that brought them closer. They often spent hours discussing their dreams, their fears, and their hopes for the future. Tunde admired Abena's resilience and her ability to find joy despite the challenges she faced. Abena, in turn, was inspired by Tunde's genuine desire to help others, and she began to see a new side of wealth, one that was not about status but about using resources to bring about positive change. But as they grew closer, the pressures of their different worlds began to affect their relationship. Tunde's family expected him to conform to their expectations, and he often found himself torn between his passion for education and the responsibility he felt toward his family. Abena, too, felt the weight of her family's expectations. They relied on her to succeed, not just for her future, but for the family's well-being. The tension between their ambitions and their relationships with their families created strain. Both Abena and Tunde were determined to stay true to their dreams, but the pressure was intense. Abena's struggles became even more evident when she received an offer for a prestigious internship that could propel her career forward. It was a fantastic opportunity, but it meant moving far away from her family, from Tunde, and everything that felt familiar. She questioned whether she was making the right choice. She wanted to help her family and prove that all her hard work had paid off, but she didn't want to sacrifice her relationship with Tunde. Tunde, too, was facing his own dilemmas. His family was pushing him to take over the business, and he felt trapped. He wanted to follow his heart and pursue a career that would allow him to do more for his community, but he didn't want to disappoint his parents. One day, Abena and Tunde sat down together, reflecting on their futures. They realized that they both wanted more than just financial success, more than just societal approval. They wanted to make a difference. It was then that they made the difficult decision to pursue their dreams, regardless of the obstacles. Abena accepted the internship, even though it meant moving away, and Tunde decided to tell his family that he would not be taking over the business. They both knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face it together. As Abena moved to a new city to start her internship, the distance between her and Tunde grew. Their relationship was tested by the challenges of long-distance communication and the busy schedules they now had. Yet their love for each other remained strong. They made time to visit each other and stayed connected through phone calls and messages. They continued to encourage one another to follow their passions and pursue their dreams, no matter how difficult. The separation allowed them to grow individually, but they knew that they were building something meaningful that would last. During their time apart, Abena excelled at her internship, impressing her supervisors with her work ethic and intelligence. She was offered a full-time position at the company after her graduation, a testament to her dedication. Meanwhile, Tunde worked tirelessly on his community projects, focusing on education and youth development. Although they were miles apart, they supported each other through the challenges. Abena's success at work made her proud, but she also began to miss the sense of community she had back home in Ghana. Tunde, too, began to feel the weight of his decisions. While he was passionate about his work, he also missed the comfort and sense of belonging he had at home. One weekend, Abena and Tunde decided to return to Ghana to visit their families. The visit reminded them of what they had left behind: the warmth of family, the sense of belonging, and the love they had always known. As they spent time together in their hometown, they realized that while they had changed, home would always be a part of them. They couldn't ignore the pull of family and tradition, but they also knew that they had created something new in their lives, a future that was shaped by their own choices and aspirations. On one evening during their visit, Tunda surprised Abena with a proposal. It wasn't extravagant, but it was heartfelt. He wanted to build a future with her, one where they could continue to support each other's dreams and create something meaningful together. Abena, moved by his words, accepted. They knew that their journey wasn't going to be easy, but they were committed to facing whatever came their way, together. As the years passed, Abena and Tunda's careers continued to flourish. Abena took on more responsibility at her company, and Tunda became even more involved in his community projects. Despite their busy lives, they continued to make time for each other. They balanced their work and personal lives, always remembering that their relationship was a priority. They continued to grow individually and as a couple, learning to navigate the complexities of love and ambition. However, as their careers grew, so did the demands on their time. They found themselves working longer hours and spending less time together. Their relationship began to feel the strain. One day, Abena realized that while her career was important, she had to make time for her family and her relationship with Tunde. She had to find a balance. Tunde, too, came to a similar conclusion. They decided to take a break from their hectic schedules and spend time together, just the two of them. They went on a quiet weekend getaway, rekindling the love that had brought them together in the first place. During this time, they made a new commitment to each other, to prioritize their relationship and find balance in their lives. Their work was important, but they realized that without each other, nothing else mattered. The time they spent together strengthened their bond, reminding them of the love that had always been the foundation of their relationship. As the years went by, they became parents, raising children who shared their passion for education and social change. Abena and Tunda's nonprofit organization continued to thrive, impacting the lives of many. They had built a legacy of love, hard work, and service to their community. Together, they had created something greater than they could have imagined, something that would last long after they were gone. Their children, inspired by their parents' work, continued the family tradition of service, working to make the world a better place in their own unique ways. Abena and Tunde watched proudly as their children grew into compassionate, driven individuals. Their journey had come full circle, from struggling students to leaders in their community, united by their love for each other and their shared mission to create lasting change. As they sat together one evening watching their children grow and build their own futures, Abena and Tunde reflected on everything they had accomplished. They had faced challenges, made sacrifices, and overcome obstacles. But through it all, they had built a life filled with love, purpose, and meaning. Their story was one of resilience, determination, and unwavering support for each other. And as they looked toward the future, they knew that their work was far from over. Together, they would continue to build a better tomorrow, hand in hand. That was the entire story. There isn't any more content unless you'd like me to expand on certain parts, add additional details, or build upon specific elements of Abena and Tunde's journey. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. It seems like the story has already reached its natural conclusion. If you'd like me to expand on it further, perhaps focusing on a particular character, their children's lives, or what happens in the community Abena and Tunde helped uplift, I'd be happy to do so. Let me know how you'd like the story to continue or evolve. The story as written has concluded with Abena and Tunde reflecting on their journey and legacy. However, if you'd like me to extend it, I can imagine the next chapters of their lives, perhaps diving into their children's journeys, further challenges in their community work, or how they continue to evolve as individuals and as a couple. Let me know if you'd like to explore those ideas or if you have a specific direction in mind. Sure, let's explore what happens next in Abena and Tunde's lives. focusing on their legacy, their children, and the evolution of their work and relationships. As the years passed, Abena and Tundi entered a new chapter of their lives. Their children, Amma and Kofi, had grown into remarkable young adults, each pursuing paths inspired by their parents' values but shaped by their unique perspectives. Amma, the eldest, had taken a keen interest in education reform. After studying abroad, she returned to Ghana, determined to create a curriculum that combined modern techniques with indigenous knowledge. She believed that children should not only excel in academics, but also understand and embrace their cultural heritage. Her work began in small rural schools where she introduced her innovative teaching methods. Her success gained national attention, and soon she was working with government officials to implement her ideas on a larger scale. Kofi, on the other hand, channeled his passion into environmental sustainability. He saw firsthand how climate change was affecting local farmers and decided to advocate for policies that supported sustainable agriculture. His efforts led him to collaborate with international organizations, bringing resources and training to rural communities. He launched a project that combined technology and traditional farming practices, helping farmers increase their yields while preserving the environment. Abena and Tunde watched with pride as their children built on the foundation they had laid. However, they also faced new challenges as they transitioned into advisory roles. Their nonprofit had grown significantly, but with expansion came complications, bureaucratic hurdles, funding pressures, and the ever-present risk of losing the personal touch that had made their work impactful. They spent their days mentoring the next generation of leaders, ensuring that the values of empathy, inclusivity, and integrity remained at the organization's core. One day, Abena and Tunda were invited to a global summit on social innovation. Standing on a stage before an international audience, they shared their story, how a scholarship and a chance meeting had changed their lives and the lives of countless others. Their words inspired many in the room, sparking collaborations and partnerships that would further their mission on a global scale. At home, their relationship deepened in ways they hadn't anticipated. With their children now independent, they rediscovered each other as partners beyond their roles as parents and colleagues. They spent quiet evenings reminiscing about their journey and dreaming about the future. They also made time for themselves, exploring new hobbies and traveling to places they had always wanted to visit. But life was not without its challenges. As they aged, they faced health concerns that reminded them of their mortality. These moments brought their family closer together, as Amma and Kofi stepped in to support them just as they had supported their children all their lives. Abena and Tunde found solace in the love that surrounded them, knowing they had built a life filled with purpose and meaning. Their legacy grew, not just through their work, but through the lives they had touched. The schools they had built produced doctors, engineers, artists, and teachers who went on to uplift their communities. Their story became a symbol of hope, a reminder that resilience, love, and a shared vision could overcome any obstacle. And so, as the sun set on another day in their vibrant, bustling hometown, Abena and Tunde sat together on their porch, watching children play in the distance. Their hearts were full, not just with the satisfaction of what they had achieved, but with the knowledge that their journey was part of something far greater than themselves. They had planted seeds of change, and those seeds would continue to grow for generations to come. It seems like the story is naturally coming full circle, with Abena and Tunde's legacy thriving through their children, their work, and their impact on the community. But let's keep going and delve deeper into the next phase of their family's journey, focusing on new challenges and opportunities for the next generation and their community. Amma's work in education reform began to attract global recognition. She was invited to speak at conferences around the world, advocating for culturally relevant education systems that empowered students to solve real-world problems. However, the rapid rise of her career also brought unexpected pressures. She struggled with balancing her personal life and professional responsibilities. One day, after returning from a particularly exhausting trip, she confided in Abena, saying, "I feel like I'm losing myself in the work." Abena listened carefully and reminded Amma of her own journey, how she had faced similar struggles and learned to create boundaries to preserve her peace. Together, they discussed ways for Amma to delegate tasks and find moments of rest. It was a heartfelt conversation, and it strengthened their bond as mother and daughter. Meanwhile, Kofi's environmental work faced a setback. A massive drought hit a region he had been supporting, undoing months of progress. Farmers were losing crops, and frustration mounted in the community. Kofi felt the weight of their struggles, questioning whether his efforts were making any real difference. It was Tunda who helped him see the bigger picture. "Son," he said one evening, "true change doesn't happen overnight. Every small step matters. What you're doing isn't just about today, it's about laying the foundation for tomorrow." Tunda's words reignited Kofi's determination. He partnered with researchers to introduce drought-resistant crops and initiated workshops to teach farmers how to adapt to changing climate conditions. Slowly but surely, the community began to recover, and Kofi's efforts brought hope to many. Back in their hometown, Abena and Tunda were navigating their own new chapter. Their health challenges prompted them to slow down and focus on passing their knowledge to others. They started mentoring young leaders, offering guidance to ensure their nonprofit's mission remained strong. One of their mentees, a passionate young woman named Afua, became a rising star in the organization. Her energy and innovative ideas reminded Abena of herself in her youth, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose in nurturing the next generation of changemakers. The family story took an unexpected turn when Amma and Kofi decided to collaborate on a project. They envisioned a holistic initiative that combined education and sustainability, creating schools that doubled as eco-friendly hubs for the community. The schools would teach children while also serving as centers for agricultural training, clean energy workshops, and small business incubation. It was an ambitious idea, but with their parents' guidance and their combined expertise, they made it a reality. The first of these future hubs was built in a rural village where Abena had once taught as a volunteer. The opening ceremony was a deeply emotional moment for the entire family. As they stood together, cutting the ribbon to the cheers of the villagers, Abena felt tears well up in her eyes. This was more than just a building. It was a testament to the power of perseverance, love, and shared vision. Years later, as Abena and Tunda approached their twilight years, they found themselves surrounded by the fruits of their labor. Their children were thriving, their community was flourishing, and their legacy was firmly rooted in the hearts of those they had touched. They often spent evenings watching the sunset, reflecting on their journey. "We've come a long way," Tunda would say, holding Abena's hand, "and the best part is knowing it doesn't end with us." Their story became more than just a personal narrative, it became a legend in their community, passed down through generations. People spoke of Abena and Tunde not only as individuals but as a symbol of what was possible when love, determination, and selflessness guided a life. And so, as the years rolled on, the seeds they had planted continued to grow. Their children, their mentees, and the communities they had empowered carried forward their vision, ensuring that the story of Abena and Tunde would never truly end.